in now.
Alright, perfect. Let's set this.
Get rid of
Let's
that.
start now. Okay. I should be up as well. I'm just gonna pull it up on my phone so that way I have Twitch chat on the side and it's not on the screen or anything.
That might actually be good.
Yeah, exactly.
Since if someone comes in with a question.
Yeah, I'd like to be able to answer shit. I'm just gonna. It just might take a minute for this to actually load.
I know my stream has a couple seconds delay currently.
Oh, mine has a. It's like it's a pretty bad delay.
No snipers, no sniping. So.
Yeah, exactly. But with only 44 followers, like you're not gonna get sniped. Nor does it really matter that much. With the way Arena's been recently, I got my ass kicked in the last 2 games I played. Or in the last 2 runs. Yeah. I went like, because the first game I played today, I was like, okay, this is gonna be a good day. I went 7-3 or whatever. And then after that, I went like 4-3 and then 2-3. And then another 2-3, and I was just like, well, fuck today, I guess. And those are the most bullshit things ever. Like, my friend was watching it, and he was like, yeah, this just wasn't your day. There we go. Oh, I gotta change when I'm streaming. Actually gotta go. There's gonna be some Twitch-ception going on right now.
Yep, you better get ready. I'll have that open too. You guys want to get everyone who's watching this is gonna see 2 of us.
God, this is so much.
I mean, with the League Championship Series, it's hard to pass that up. But
yeah. Oh, that's going on right now. Is that
I'll have that open
is that Team
too.
Liquid is still in it?
I don't know. You guys want to get everyone who's watching like this 3 or 4 years ago?
It's what?
I have no idea. I stopped caring about competitive
Okay,
like
fair.
LCS in like 2013. All right. All right. So, what do you want to start with, Kenny? Let's see what we got. Sure.
I have a couple things. I wanted to start with.
I mean, I want to talk about how Gumshoes looks like Donald Trump. That's literally the first thing that's coming to my mind right now.
Yeah, I get that.
You guys seeing this? Look at him. Like, do you want this?
Oh, yeah,
do you want Gumshoes? Gums for shoes for president? I don't think so.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I think. Let's see. I'm gonna go to the video quick. I'll start at the beginning of the video. Oh, first of all, they decided to introduce. For those of you who haven't seen this video yet, they decided that they're gonna redo a lot of the Gen 1 Pokemon, like Executor, which is now a coconut tree that is also a dragon.
I'm pulling that up right now.
Why the fuck is it a dragon type?
What I want to say is, why is this thing gonna be the thing for my nightmares? Like, oh my god.
Dude, did you know that thing, like, you see its tail?
It's got a little head on it.
Yeah, it's a 4th head. That's where the egg. That's where the other egg went to. Apparently, the other egg actually survives in this one.
So when I say just the tip, you're getting all 4 this time with this. Oh my god.
Yeah, exactly. So wait, so Marty, have you played a lot of like competitive Pokemon at all?
I have. In fact, I've been playing competitive for, I think, 11 years now.
Oh wow, okay. So like Gen 3 onward, kind of.
Yeah, Gen 3 onward.
Okay, that's what that sounded like. Yeah, I'm not sure how, because the only other grass dragon type we've ever had has been Mega Sceptile. And it was underwhelming. With Quad weak to ice, grass isn't really the best defensive typing unless you have poison thrown on it.
Right.
So, I'm not sure.
Sceptile's my favorite Pokemon, so that was a disappointment.
Yeah, I mean, like, it was, I mean, like, if you can get it set up, it hits like a truck. That special attack is nothing to laugh at. But it looks like in the trailer that this is, it's getting, like, physical moves. Like, physical
Yeah, because he slams them with his face.
Yeah. I don't know exactly what that is. They don't have, like, the other forms of Pokemon on this one, on the website, do they? Not in this CRV one. I think that's just, like, Gen 7 shit. Oh, don't want to talk about that yet.
That's the link. But in terms of the video, let's see, we got the Executor, the Vulpix, all that kind of stuff. I wish they had pictures. Let me see if I can pull it up on Cerebi.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I want to get the details for all the
new forms. Here we go. Zigguard, we know that. Zigguard. Oh no, that's not it. Alola form. There we go.
Yeah.
Aha! Here we go. Well, that's a much clearer image.
Oh, what the one that you got up?
Yep.
Alolan Executor.
Oh my god.
Dude, this thing is insane.
I think the only Pokemon that's bigger than Alolan Executor is Wailord.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's 35 feet tall. No, 35 feet. This thing is a skyscraper.
This thing is the dumbest looking fucking... I just can't take it serious. They put it next to, like, the regular Executor, and I'm just like, holy crap, that neck. I just can't deal with it.
When I first saw this, I was like, that's not Executor.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, it's so weird.
I can't look at it. It's creeping me out.
It's so good. But then like the next thing they show in the video is actually my favorite, which is the new Ninetales form.
Oh my god, it's adorable.
It's beautiful. Like the design of this Pokemon is probably one of my favorite things, and that offensive typing Ice Fairy, it's gonna be insane.
It's a Dragon Slayer.
It's literally a Dragon Slayer. Like this thing can come in on dragons if it has good enough defense.
Unlike most ice types.
Yeah, like obviously the issue is still rocks, but we'll see. This new metagame is also going to be really insane with Gen 7 coming out.
Oh man, we got a hello from, I believe, Mr. Lee.
Mr. Lee? Well, hello, Mr. Lee.
We were in marching band with him, if you recall.
Yeah, he was a trumpet player.
Hey, yeah, that's
Got
him. Shout out, Lee.
What's up, Lee? How are you doing, man? Feel free to ask questions. I can't really look at both
we'll take anything you got to throw at us.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but they haven't... I think they've gotten sneakier with hiding damage calcs in the videos ever since people... so they showed the Zygarde form trailer, and literally everyone had immediately done damage calcs for the two different forms and whatnot. Like, when they saw what the Zygarde, like, ultimate form or whatever did. And then people were, like, predicting its HP stat and all that type of stuff. So now they don't really show the HP anymore.
Which I think is clever, because that leaves it more for a mystery. And, you know, I like the speculation, but at the same time, I don't know, the last time we got information like that I remember was when we had, like, leaked sprites and stats of every single Generation 5 Pokemon, like, 2 days before Black and White came out.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Oh wait, I wanted to show, because the other thing is, I think that in the description of the Alola and Sandslash, I think they're teasing at a new ability that might make Hail teams viable, in a way. So you know how, with Sandslash in the original gens, his ability is Sandbell, and then he has Sand Rush as a hidden ability?
Mm-hmm.
So I think in this one, because in the description, Alola and Sandshrew, this Pokemon evolved into the Sandslash. Spiky backs are covered in ice. Thanks to ice coating, these spines are large and sharp. Alolan's, blah, blah, blah. The weight of their ice covers the body, makes these Sandslash heavier than normal. And this causes them to be slower. Yet, in fields of snow on ice, they move by creating a path with their claws, so they're moving with swiftness. That could be alluding to, like, Snow Rush.
Or like a Snow Swift Swim or something like that?
Yeah, like a Snow Swift Swim or like a Sand Rush ability.
That'd be cool, but the only problem... I thought about this. It said he's really slow to begin with.
Yeah.
So if he's got, like, you know, an Ice-type Swift Swim, that makes him... You know, it's like you're going from, like, 20 base speed to 40, and that's
Yeah,
now you have Speed Snorlax.
I want to actually go. I'm gonna try and bring up quick Sandslash's original Sandslash, because I want to see what his base speed is. Because the only reference we have is based on the original Sandslash.
Right.
And I don't remember what his speed is. Because I don't really play NU. I guess PU. Is Sandslash PU?
He's NU or PU. I don't remember which.
Oh, I definitely went past the stats. Okay. Oh wow, his speed is already only 65, so maybe not. Maybe that'll just never happen, which is a little unfortunate. But still think it's an awesome. Ice Steel typing is interesting to say the least.
I think it's terrible.
Oh, it's terrible. Like fighting.
It's so bad.
Fighting fire. Just like it's actually awful.
Ice cancels out half the things that Steel resist in the first place.
There's gonna be just a lot of neutral damage, and then you have quad weak to a lot of things.
Ugh.
And then you're also no, I guess you're normal and stealth wise at least, but
that's true. But
it's interesting though, and I don't know why I love the way that they did Sandshrew's design.
Oh, it's so chubby and cute.
So the head is so great. And then the giant spike on Sandslash's head. And then, oh yeah, I forgot about these, the 4 birds of the island.
Let me pull up the new Pokemon page. Talking about... We're pretty far down there. There we go. Oricorio, I think his name is.
Yeah, Oricorio, that's the fire-flying one. They all have, like, their unique, like, dance styles or whatever.
What I think is the coolest thing is that they have the ability Dancer, which immediately copies any dancing move
that the opponent does?
Yeah.
Wow. So these things could be used to just stop set up Dancer, set up mons, like, in their tracks.
It's a passive Psych Up.
Yeah.
Which we haven't seen anything remotely close to that, and that's what amazes me is that all these new abilities that come out are just so cool. Like,
along with that, we have another electric flying type.
Tapu Koko?
It's one of the Oricorio.
Oh, it's the cheerleader.
Yeah, the cheerleader, the pom-pom style.
Oh my
that could
God.
be really good.
Well, electric flying's already pretty solid as it is, as we see with like Zapdos.
Yeah. So depending on the stats of this Pokemon and the move pool, it could be very interesting. You can make it a very bulky thing that can come in on set up sweepers and like force them out and all that type of stuff.
Oh yeah.
And then we even have a ghost flying type, the Sensu style one.
Oh, I didn't even know they had style names.
Yeah, it's like it's each for their own thing. And then we have another psychic flying, which is kind of overwhelming because it has a lot of weaknesses.
Yeah, right, Zatu.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so it's a little bit underwhelming, but I mean, it happens. But the ghost flying type is very, very interesting to look out for.
That's probably my favorite design right there. I have the
ghost one.
Oh yeah, that was so cool.
Mm-hmm. I love the fans that they have.
As feathers, yes. Yeah. Now, Kenny, you mentioned stat distribution. And I think that's going to be something, like, I want to cover all the Pokemon first, but that's definitely something I think we can talk forever about in terms of these new Pokemon and what the implications of the new Alolan forms mean.
Yeah.
So let's see what else we got.
Oh, about like the different stat distributions?
Let's look at the Pokemon first, then we can talk all about them.
Okay, absolutely. So let's see. So we have the young goons, or the young goose.
Young Goons!
Evolve form, Gumshoes, which was also revealed to be a totem Pokemon.
See, that, I don't know if it's like, that's just like a boss Pokemon, like you only fight it as a boss, or you can capture it as a totem.
I'm not sure. I have a feeling you're not going to be able to capture the totem Pokemon.
Right.
Just from the way it looks. Like, even though they kind of seem like they're legendary-ish, I don't think that they're going to be capturable. I think they're just meant to be, like, guardian Pokemon.
Yeah.
You kind of treat them like a trainer's Pokemon.
Right. My logic is sort of, so we know how, and this is a whole different topic right here, but, you know, we see the 4 islands, there's the island trials, there's the riding Pokemon. So that, what that tells us is that there might not be HMs. So you don't need Fly to get around the map, you don't need HMO2 or whatever. You got Charizard that'll just pick you up and drop you off where you want. So that tells me that these totem Pokemon are the gyms, and they are just, like, boss Pokemon.
Yeah, that's definitely, like, what it could be. I'm very curious to see how, like, is it, like, so, how, like each Pokemon, though, like, each island has its own kind of...
Yes.
Yeah.
So Gumshoos is probably the first one, because it's a normal type, and, you know, it's your generic starting zone rodent.
But at the same time, it's kind of like, then what was the, I'm actually a little bit confused about the gym system, because I'll skip forward in the video, and we'll come back to some of the Pokemons. I guess we can talk about this, but they have, like, the trial captains, as they're called.
Let me pull that up. Island Challenge.
Yeah. So it's like your rite of passage, and like you go, it looks like there's like one for each island. And like the first one's grass, and then I think it's it goes water, electric, and fire.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so that's each of the islands. But I'm curious. So I'm curious where, if the trainers that they showed for each island, because like each island has its own trainer. Like Kauai is the fire guy. Then there's Lana's the water type. There is an electric type in between there. Sophocles. Wow, I didn't realize. And then Mallow.
So we got a question from, real quick. The question was, what is a totem Pokemon? So I'm just going to read that aloud.
Okay, absolutely.
So it just says, at the end of the trial, which is sort of like, I'm guessing it's the replacement for the gym, you will come across totem Pokemon. So I have like that fiery totem young goose thing. It says, these are more powerful versions of various Pokemon, larger than others of the species. When they battle, they will often summon ally Pokemon to take you on. So it sounds like a horde battle mechanic. Mm-hmm. And that's really all the information we got.
Yeah, I mean, they showed a little clip of it, I think, at the end of the trailer recently. I'm trying to remember, it's probably before the Z moves. Yeah, it's like, and it's interesting because powerful totem Pokemon await at the end of each trial. And it shows a Gumshoos that then it says, totem Gumshoos aura flared into a fire, or flared into life, its defense rose. So I'm wondering if each, like, island has something. Oh, and then totem Pokemon can call for help. And then a young goose appears. Now I'm wondering if each island, it's not only like a different Pokemon, but a different stat that gets raised. So it's kind of like you have like a defense trial, then you have like an offense trial where it's like the attack, and then maybe defense and special defense, or even speed could be one of them.
Yeah, speed trial, for sure.
Yeah, so it's very interesting, because it also just looks like you're not going to be able to capture them, just from the way that they're putting them in there, and calling them specific totem Pokemon.
Right.
Because then, like, I don't know, it just seems kind of weird to want to do that. But then I'm also confused. So I guess that each island has, the first things that they show in the trailer were like the people that are guiding you through the challenges, and then they show you the kahunas that are
I think that's like the gym leader is the kahuna,
yeah,
not the trial captain.
Exactly.
So you go through the trial, which sounds like kind of like probably like an obstacle course where you have to like collect certain items and find this in a certain amount of time or something, which is pretty cool. They've never done anything like that.
Yeah.
Then when you finish the trial, you fight the Totem Pokemon, which is like a mini-boss. And once you beat the Totem Pokemon, then you do go to the Grand Trial, where you fight the Kahuna, who's like the big boss, and then you can move on for the next few trials.
Yeah, exactly. And I think this game seems really, really interesting because it's much more about just trying to, like, as far, like, from, like, a story perspective, you're not fighting anyone, it seems. Or at least they haven't revealed anyone yet. That, like, a big organization that you're fighting against for, like, to save the world. Like, this is just you, like, wanting to be a better trainer. And you have to go through all these challenges to do it. And I think that that's a really cool new formula for this.
It is. But that just leaves so many questions for me. And most likely for anyone, who's remotely following this, because it's like, if they took out HMs for the riding Pokemon, which I'm going to pull up real quick.
Oh my god, I am so excited for riding the Pokemon. Like, honestly, one of my favorite things, I think, is being able to see that, like, you can ride not just, like, one Pokemon, but, like, it shows you riding a Charizard.
Here we go, Poke Ride. So in the picture here, it's like a guy riding a Stoutland.
Yeah, but then you can also ride a Tauros, a Mudsdale, like just in the trailer.
Yeah. So here's each Pokemon has a different thing.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah. So you just, like you just said, Kenny, Sharpedo can break through rocks. Now it's like you don't need a Rock Smash because the Sharpedo does it for you. Stoutland picks up items for you. Yeah. Which is like the ability pickup, so you don't need a pickup Pokemon.
Yeah.
So all those like tedious little things that you normally had to do in the world, I feel like all of those are being. I don't know this for sure, but I feel like all of them are being replaced with Poke Ride.
I'm curious to see if that's how it'll go.
I think that's a convenience factor.
I think it would be much better to do that.
Because imagine you have like, I don't know, let's say Feraligatr, who's 9 times out of 10 a physical attacker, right? But he's your only water type. It's like, well, I need to get across this body of water. I gotta teach him Surf. Now you don't have to go through the hassle of, teaching your in-game Pokemon Surf.
Yeah.
To go across the water and then having to delete it later. And actually, that brings me to my next thing. Hyper training.
Oh my god. This was what they needed to, like, make kids not feel shitty about genning in Pokemon.
Thank you. Thank you. I've been waiting for this. So, let's see. Would you like to explain it?
Yeah, so basically hyper training, well, in the last generation in Gen 6, they introduced, what was it even called?
Super
training. It was called super training. And what super training did is it made it easier to know your EV spreads, which is the effort value of Pokemon, which you get through beating other trainers and other Pokemon. And certain Pokemon will give you certain EVs, or you could do and it would always show you that spread, or you could do certain, like, super trainings, which get you a certain effort value. So it was really good to breed and, like, make Pokemon for competitive use. It made it much easier and made it much more visual for a lot of people. But the big issue that a lot of people have had is the breeding process, because it takes so freaking long to get that perfect IV Ditto, and, like,
I never did that.
I know. I've only done it a couple times because I haven't ever used, like, Ditto, but I've used, like Donphan. I would, like, breed with, like, someone else in its egg group and that sort of thing. And that, like, it's so tedious that I've only done it a couple times.
It's gotten less tedious as the games have progressed, but it was still a tedious process, even in Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire.
But now, we don't need to worry about that, because we have hyper training. So that one Pokemon that got you through a Nuzlocke that you really want to use in competitive? Well, now you can, because in hyper training you can change the IVs of a Pokemon, which is the individual value that it is essentially born with, which you have never been able to do before. And this has got, like, when I saw this, at first I was like, is this just a more, like they showed that when you have the EV distribution, you see the actual numbers for EVs. And I was like, okay, cool, so they're making that. I guess that's what hyper training is. And then I saw, wait a minute, they're using the word initial, or they're using the word individual strengths. is the way they describe it. So what you're able to do is once a Pokemon reaches level 100, you can go to this guy with your bottle caps.
Whatever those are, no one
Yeah,
really knows yet.
we'll figure it out. We'll see. Hopefully they make them accessible, or like you just have to play post game to get them.
I
But
think,
basically, you give him that,
yeah,
and then you can max out your IVs.
which is
And
fantastic.
it sounds so good because then you can just get like, in all honesty, you can just get like 6 or 7 Dittos, like get them to level 100 or whatever, and then like you're good. Like, and
I think,
that's so much
yeah,
less time than normally would take to like get anything.
that's presuming, they keep the whole breeding process, as a big part of competitive, which I would
Yeah,
presume they will.
I think that breeding is still going to be a thing, honestly.
Some people live for that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Um, so, but I was so excited when they announced that because like there was like a whole big PokeTuber thing recently with a guy who was really against genning Pokemon, and then like a bunch of people were kind of just like pissed off, and now no one has to be really mad about like that because now there's
Nope.
not going to be as much genning. Definitely, there's going to be no genning in like VGC formats anymore. But like
Which, I think that was like an indirect gateway to get into those. You either had the time or you were able to cheat your way in without getting caught.
yeah, exactly. So I think that this is just good. I also think that this is showing them actually giving a shit about competitive Pokemon, which they have consistently showed that they don't.
I think that's arguable, but at the same time, I do think this kind of like merges your little kid casual player, which is actually within all of us. Because why else are we playing Pokemon?
Mm-hmm.
Let's be real.
Oh no! I just love like I'm gonna have like I don't care. I'm having like one of these fucking Ninetales on my team, no matter what.
Oh yeah,
like
I'm hyped.
like I love this little guy. Oh, I gotta find. There was also a there's speculation over other Alolan forms. One of which is a Marowak. They think might be a fire type because of the trailer saying, or the description of the fire guy, the fire leader. It says that he's like the leader of the Fire Island, and then he freaking Sorry, I'm trying to pull it up, but it says like he trains with a Marowak, and I'm like, why would you have a Marowak if you're a fire? If your specialty is fire? And then I'm like, wait a minute, they're changing all the Gen 1 Pokemon. And let me see if I can find it.
That is true. The only Pokemon that have Alolan forms right now are all Gen 1.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that's what it's. I think it's going to be mostly Gen 1 Mons, though, that get the Alolan treatment. Because I have a theory that they've been trying to use Pokemon Go to hype people back into Pokemon, then get them to play Sun and Moon. And now with this release of all these Gen 1 Pokemon being, like, reintroduced but different, I could see this, like, them trying to attract, like, an older audience with this.
I think that's what they go for every time, but they just haven't quite hit the mark yet.
But I think that this might have been what they needed to do, kind of coinciding the point where Pokemon Go has like taken off like in force, and now it's like, okay, now we have all these people paying attention again. Let's release all of these Gen 1 Pokemon.
Yep.
So I think I just like that's a mini conspiracy theory on my end.
No, but it makes sense. It makes sense. It plays into the nostalgia factor.
Exactly. So I'm super hyped about that. Oh, another thing I wanted to talk about. I'm curious as to since we've never talked about this, how do you feel about what is this one? Salandit. I was just curious of your opinion of it.
Oh, let me roll it up. I've been waiting to talk about this guy for a while.
He's amazing. He's such a little badass dude. He has a bandana on.
First of all, he's a lizard, which is... I'm already a sucker for any reptile Pokemon. Mm-hmm. 2, he's poison fire. I've been wanting that since I was 7 years old.
I think, like, this is one of the best, like... Well, obviously, it's a new unique typing. So...
Not a great one, but it's...
Yeah, it's not a great one. It's, like, 4 times weak to ground, weak to rock, like, weak to stealth rocks, like, not good defensively, not good really offensively. Like, fire types aren't really that great right now in the competitive metagame. But, like, its ability, Corrosion, is insane.
That is probably its selling point. And see, what I see when I see Salandit is, it's Poison Fire, which means it quad resists Fairy. It has a type that's super effective against Fairy. And what is commonly seen against Fairy, alongside Fairy types, is Steel types. Because Steel types, generally...
They counter the...
Yeah, they balance each other out, and they're both really good defensively.
Mm-hmm.
So, Salandit kind of, can dent that Fairy Steel core.
Yeah.
With, say it's got Sludge Bomb or some physical poison attack that, dents Fairy types. But then, a Steel, let's say Heatran comes in.
Mm-hmm.
Now, normally, Poison Fire does nothing to Heatran because Heatran is Steel Fire and has Flash Fire, right?
Yes. But now you can say the Toxic, yeah.
Now you poison it.
Mm-hmm. Now, I'm curious because, and I think we're going to have to wait for the game. I mean, I don't think this is how it's going to work, but since it says it's possible to inflict the poison status condition even on Steel and Poison types, I'm wondering if that means that, like, with this ability, Sludge Bomb could hit Heatran and stuff like that.
That's a good question.
Like, and it's something that they didn't really address in the trailer because they just showed Toxic, I think. They showed Toxic on Skarmory and they showed it on another poison type. I think it was like Ekans or something. But it'd be very interesting if it can. If it can't, then I think that this becomes it becomes not as good.
Right.
Because
according to what it says this Pokemon can inflict the poison status on Steel poison types.
Exactly, and that's the thing. It's like, I feel like they wouldn't have specified it that much unless, like, that's all you can do. But it's just like, it's the fact that, like, stuff like Sludge Bomb and Sludge Wave have chances to poison. So, that's kind of why I was like, well, if it has the chance to poison, does that mean that, like, it still has the chance to poison, like, even if it doesn't affect them?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah, so, like, I'm just curious as to how the mechanic will exactly work. But, again, it's kind of a question, like, that we can't really answer with the information that they've given us thus far.
I think what would be cool is if, like, you could hit, you'd use Sludge Bomb on Heatran.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't affect Heatran, but the poison status still goes through instantly.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that'd be interesting. Where like
100% accurate Toxic, but only on Steel poison types.
That'd be interesting, actually.
I mean, I don't think it's gonna happen, but
yeah, I know, but that'd just be an interesting compromise to the dilemma that I'm seeing, at least. But yeah, no, I think this Pokemon is very interesting, and I'm curious to see if it's just a if it's Stage 1 Pokemon always, or if it's gonna have an evolution.
I think it's gonna have an evolution, but that's also wishful thinking.
Mm-hmm. I think it will. It's just something I'm waiting on as well. Let's see, what else was... Yeah, I'm very curious to see if they actually have HMs. I'm also curious to see, I think that they're done with Mega Evolution.
Okay, I was waiting for you to talk about this, because I have read so much into this topic right now.
Mm-hmm. So, the thing that I was very skeptical that they would remove it completely. I thought, okay, well, maybe it'll just be, like, those Pokemon and that's it. We'll get Mega Evolutions. But something in the trailer kind of, alludes to it a little bit, in my opinion, where it's like, they show you getting on a Charizard, but not a Mega Charizard. And I know that's kind of a stupid one, but at the same time, I feel like if they had the chance to show that Mega Evolutions are going to be allowed, they would show it there.
And they've had a bunch of opportunities with Salamence and whatnot.
Yeah, they've had so many opportunities to show, hey, Mega Evolution is around, and they just haven't. So I think the absence in this case affirms, in my opinion, that that's not going to happen. Plus, showing the Alola forms of these other Pokemon, of these, like, old Gen 1 Pokemon, I think that this is just showing that Mega Evolution are done. Because you can't have that many... First of all, you can't have a Mega for everything in the game. And at the rate that they were doing it, that's what was going to end up happening.
That's true.
Along with that, like I was kind of saying before, I think Nintendo has showed that they kind of care, or the Pokemon Company has showed that they kind of care about competitive now, with hyper training and stuff like that. So I think that those two things combined, just the way that they've been doing marketing, how many announcements it's been without even one Mega Evolution, and just like showing Zygarde's different forms, the different forms in the Gen 1 Pokemon. I think they realized that Mega Evolution broke the competitive scene, made no one want to play, like no one played anything other than like Mega Kangaskhan. Like that just showed up in every single team that was like in the top tier or made it to like regionals or even like nationals and worlds.
That's right.
So it's just like, I think they realized that it broke the game, and even though there are always going to be like strictly better mons as Smogon generally shows, I think they realized they went a little too far.
And actually, the fact that you mentioned like there's strictly better mons kind of like brings my point. I for one was a supporter of certain Mega Evolutions, not all of them. Like I look at Beedrill, right? Mega Beedrill. Beedrill is you're never going to use regular Beedrill on a competitive team.
Yeah.
Ever. Beedrill is garbage. Mega Beedrill is not garbage because that thing, it's like a truck.
Yeah, it's a glass cannon, exactly, and that's like what that you needed. It was awesome.
So things like that are why I support Mega Evolution. But when you get stuff like Mega Gengar or Mega Alakazam or Mega Salamence, already good Pokemon getting a Mega Evolution, that's when I was like, why do they need that?
Yeah. Well, I think Pokemon also gave themselves a good way out in ORAS with the literal post story admitting that they had a multi-universe.
Yes.
Like, it legitimately just said, hey, there's a world without Mega Evolution, and there's one with. And so now they, like, if they're ever asked for a public statement, oh, we're back in the other universe, you know?
The canon universe. But that means Gen 6... Gen 6 just exists. Exactly. That's what's like...
Well, I think it's all technically, like... Okay, so if, like, I think it's all canon, technically speaking. I think it's just that there are, like, because... Even, like, stuff like Hoopa. Hoopa shows that you can just go through dimensions in the Pokemon universe in general. So I don't think it's breaking canon or putting it in its own little,
That's true.
Like, just because Mega Evolution isn't allowed in the other gens, like, stuff like flying, like all the different types of, like, normal gem, flying gems, all those type of things aren't really allowed in the competitive scene anymore. Because
they don't exist.
It was. Yeah, exactly. So they just don't exist now. So it's like, they can just kind of get rid of stuff as they want. So it's definitely something that I'm personally happy that's gone. I think that this just opens up a lot of design space, as we can see, I think, with the Alola forms. I think also with the Alola forms, they're getting more scientific, which I love.
Yes. And that kind of opens up a whole new can of worms, because, in different, fan-made games, or even in the trading card game, I remember they had, like, here's this Pokemon, but it's like an electric-type Alakazam or something weird like that. And that's exactly what they're giving us.
Yeah, exactly. I actually want to see if I can find the forum where some of the leaks were, because I think that they had stuff like Dark Rattata and Raticates.
Now that's interesting.
Forums leaks. I am so... you can keep talking for now. I'm trying to figure out...
Okay.
I'm just trying to see if I can find the forum for it.
I want to go back to hyper training real quick.
Absolutely.
So I think hyper training, now we can control what our EVs are with super training and, just general EV training. Because EV training is pretty easy right now. Easy as it's ever been is in Gen 6.
Yeah.
Hyper training, now we can affix the IVs, which the only thing that leaves is your moveset and nature. And part of me doesn't know if nature's going to be in the game.
Really? You think that they're just going to take it out? Why?
The only reason I think that is because you can transfer your Pokemon from blue and red, blue, and yellow to Sun and Moon using Pokebank. And because you can download that for like, I think it's like $9 or $10 on your 3DS. And then if you have Pokebank, you can transfer them when Sun and Moon comes out. But then it's like, well, what's their nature going to be? That's like entirely random. Like, I don't want to train up, I'm trying to think of what I'm using. I have a Venusaur. I don't want to like train up a Venusaur and have it like a terrible, like, quirky nature, which doesn't do anything. Tentatively.
Okay.
So, I mean, maybe that's the case. Maybe there's no new natures, but maybe there's a way to change your Pokemon's nature.
That might happen. I'm curious to see it too, because like, and as far as even like the moves, like not being like, I think that a lot of competitive moves are definitely much more accessible thanks to OROS, where they introduced the Battle Island, where you can just go up to the people, trade in battle points, and get moves like knockoff and stuff like that. Like a lot of moves that you would normally have to egg tutor,
right?
Breed into your Pokemon. I think I can't tell. So I found a thing that talks about the leak, and this was the leak I saw earlier, but it's saying that it was fake because this leak said that Ninetales was going to be Fire Fairy.
Okay, that was proven wrong because Ninetales is Ice Fairy.
Ice Fairy. So I don't know if it's completely fake, but like that, like getting the fairy part right, I think gives it a little bit legitimacy in my opinion.
That's fair. That's fair.
But it says that like from what we've seen, it says Butterfree would be like the Butterfree line would be Bug Psychic. The Rattata line would be Dark. The Nido, like the Nidoran line, Nido King and Nido Queen would be Poison Fighting instead of Ground.
Oh, that would be cool.
It says this is the one that I don't think is. This is the one that I doubt the most. I think is that Growlithe line would be Water and the Aber line would be Fighting.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's where. I can see Growlithe being Water if it's like a Golden Retriever Pokemon, and that makes kind of sense because we're on an island.
Yeah.
But Fighting Abra, I don't buy it.
Yeah, we'll see. And then the one that I really want is the Doduo line becoming Fighting Flying types.
Yes.
Because could you imagine just a bunch of like really buff Doduo like kicking people in the face?
That already happens. Sick. That already happens to me in Pokemon Go. So.
Exactly. So I think that'd be very interesting. But going along with the leaks, actually, I have up the image of the starter Pokemon.
Starters? Alright, I got it up.
So...
Let me see if we can see that on Twitch. You're going to see the dual screen. Okay, I have it up.
Yeah. So, I'm hyped for this because... this leak came out along with a couple other things that turned out to be true, including like that there would be like a werewolf Pokemon, which if you read Rockruff's description, sounds like it's going to be a werewolf.
Oh yeah, because it's like, he comes out during a full moon or something like that.
Yeah, and he like goes away to evolve and then comes back to his trainer or whatever. So
I'm gonna read that line, if you don't mind.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It says, Rockruff are a very friendly Pokemon, but their personalities become rougher as they grow. Get it? Howling at dusk is evidence their evolution is near. When evolving, they will separate from the trainer and return once their evolution is complete.
Yep. So, that's a fucking werewolf if I've ever heard one.
Yeah.
But that, they also, in this leak, they predicted that there wouldn't be gyms in the Alola region. Which, as we've seen, have kind of been true also.
At least, speculations heavily suggest that.
Speculation, like, yeah, with this most recent trailer, there aren't traditional gyms, basically. Nope. So this leak has a lot going for it. Because this was a couple weeks ago. And alongside that, the thing that a lot of people got interested in was this concept art. Where it shows Rowlet's final evolution being an archer.
Which is dope.
It looks so sick. It looks
amazing. I do have one problem with it. One problem. You see that little black and white sketch in the bottom middle of the Rowlet? That looks exactly like Hawlucha.
It does look like Hawlucha from that angle.
I'm going to pull the Hawlucha. It's Hawlucha. But like I have it up and it's Hawlucha. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
That's the only problem I have with it.
I think it'll be cool. I think like I can't tell if there's like a theme with this because like it always feels like they have a theme. Like in Gen 6, I thought it was cool that the theme was like RPG, where you had the mage, you had the rogue, and you had the warrior.
I think there is a theme with this.
Well, I don't like it. Kind of is like it's like okay, so we have an archer, we have a wrestler, and we have a mermaid, or like a siren.
it's performing.
It's performing? Ooh, that's interesting.
Archery is like a sport, wrestling is a sport, singing, and because Popplio is kind of like a circus clown.
Mm-hmm.
And someone also made a good point that the starters by themselves are circus animals, because you got the ringmaster, which is Rowlet. You got the kitten or the lion jumping through the tiger, fire, which is Litten. Yeah. And then Popplio is the seal, which circuses can have performing animals.
Oh wow, that's actually really cool. I didn't notice that. That's an awesome theme. I like that actually a lot.
Yep. So this adds up.
This all adds up, but also and I'm hoping that this is true. The design for Litten's final evolution looks like it's fire fighting, but
please no.
I think it's going to be fire dark. I think a lot of people, and I think one of the big tells, I saw this actually on a Poke Game stream, someone pointed out, where you see that sketch at the top, like near the top left side of the Litten.
Yeah.
Like that green spray coming out.
Yes.
That's like a dirty tactic in wrestling. That's him spitting in like the opponent's face or whatever. Like spitting poison or something. And and like Japanese like lore has always they've never had a dark type gym leader, and I think that's because it's like dark types have been considered evil and cheaters and stuff like that. That's why you have moves like Thief and Knockoff and Sucker Punch and that type of thing. So I think thematically this guy looks like he's like a dirty wrestler, and I think that's why he's going to be a dark type.
I just love how cocky he looks in the bottom right.
Oh my god, where he's like...
But it fits with dirty wrestler so well.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, he looks so angry. I love it.
Oh man. Yeah, so I'm really excited about this. I also love the little the Rowlet sitting on him in that little bottom sketch.
Oh yeah.
That's so funny.
Ash in the corner too with his feet.
Exactly. And then if Popplio becomes Water Fairy, I think it could be the best starter.
A Water Fairy is such a good typing.
It's amazing defensively and offensively right now, because it can be a bulky water type, or it could be just insane on offense. This thing gets Scald access more than likely. If it has that new Z move, this thing could be insane offensively. So I'm really excited. And it looks
I definitely like its design.
Yeah. I didn't expect much from Popplio because of the way it looked. I thought it was going to become a clown, but this is a cooler way to go about it.
I do like it. I mean, I'm probably still going to go with Rowlet.
Mm-hmm. I think I'm Team Litten.
Team Litten, that's fair.
Yeah, and your Team Pop
I pick grass types more than half the time.
Same. I mean, I picked Chespin in the last game. I love Chespin, honestly.
He had a smaller fan base than I expected.
I know, he's so cute. I had Chespin, I don't know how... I had Chespin in my original one. I think then I have a Delphox. I don't know where I got it from exactly. It might have been my Omega Ruby. I can't remember off the top of my head. But anyway, yeah, so I'm really excited if this leaked image turns out to be completely real. If we ever get a confirmation soon.
My guess is yes, but this isn't the final artwork.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely not. This is definitely this is concept art, if anything. You can see it says confidential and stuff like that, so this is not anywhere near being released. I also think they wouldn't have a fire spin move coming out of Litten's dick.
Yeah.
I think that's poor design.
I mean, it's his belt, but
it's his belt.
It's his dick.
Come on, he's thrusting it out there. That's a little much for a children's game.
He really is a dirty wrestler.
Hey, we got him. We found the joke.
I've been waiting. Waiting for something just like that. So, let's see. Let's talk about Z moves. Moving on.
I'll go to the thing where fucking Litten destroys. I'm just going to the part in the video.
Okay. While you're doing that, I'm going to read what Sarah B has to say about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Please do.
Okay, thank you. It says, Z moves. Following on from Mega Evolution, which is an interesting way to start a sentence, Pokemon Sun and Moon introduces a whole new mechanic which once again utilizes a ring on the trainer's wrist. These are Z moves. These moves are incredibly powerful moves and can only be used once per battle. Much like Mega Evolution, this is me talking now. That's very similar to Mega Evolution, where the trainer's got to wear a piece of jewelry, and you can only do it once per battle.
Yeah.
The Z Ring is the item that activates it, with Z crystals being needed to be held by the Pokemon in order for the moves to be activated. Again, that's very similar to Mega Evolution, where you need the stones and the bracelet to evolve. There is a Z crystal for each type of Pokemon. So there's like an electric crystal, a grass crystal.
But you need to have a move with the same typing as a crystal. So like Pikachu can use general like obviously it's gonna be able to use like the electric Z move because it's usually gonna have like Thunderbolt or Volt Switch or something like that. But we need to have something like grass not to be able to use the grass.
That's exactly what it says.
Yeah, I think
so. Bloom Doom is the name of the word.
Doom.
that to me introduces an entirely different, form of game where you can basically have like whatever Z move you want. I think it's kind of gimmicky because you're giving up a hold item for it.
Yeah.
But like, I know Shofu, he had a video just a couple hours ago about it, saying like, well, and his example was, well, can I have my Electivire or any electric-type Pokemon that knows Ice Punch hold the Ice Z Crystal? And, like, the opposing trainer is not going to know when I'm using my Z move, but then, like, they send out maybe a hard counter, like they send out, I don't know, a ground Pokemon like Glysaur. Yeah, Glysaur hard counters, normally hard counters, Electivire pretty hard. But, like, even an Ice Punch from Electivire isn't going to kill Glysaur.
It's super bulky.
Yeah, and Glysaur threatens it back with Earthquake. However, if you use the Z Ice move, he does, he might not know that you're carrying it, but if you use the Z Ice move, there goes Glysaur. You just cleared up the way for Electivire to clean up the enemy team.
Can I say this scares me because I think you're going to be running Protect on... Well, first of all, I want to know, if you use this and the opponent protects, do you get to use it again?
That's a good question.
Or does it go, like, and this would be absolutely broken, like, does it for some reason go through Protect? Because that would be horrible.
Or Substitute.
Yeah, or Substitute. I mean, like, because if, like, hopefully this doesn't go through Substitute, but if it does, then, or if it doesn't go through Substitute, you might see, like, Mimikyu on every single team to be an immediate switch into a Pokemon that, like, would commonly carry a Z-move. Because I'm sure that there'll be a metagame around it. Or at least in Smogon. Yeah, at least in Smogon terms, like it's gonna be like the same thing with Mega Evolution, where you're gonna have one Pokemon that has the Z move, at least.
You're gonna build a team around Z move, just like you used to Mega Evolution.
Yeah. Well, that's I'm curious though, because like, as far as Mega Evolution is concerned, it's kind of just modifying a Pokemon, whereas this is kind of. It's kind like I feel like this is kind of used like this is just like a not strictly worse, like it's a different type of power gem kind of, or like
yes.
I'm wondering if it counts as like using it probably doesn't. I'm wondering if like Unburden would trigger from this. I want to know a little bit more. Can't really theory build right now. We don't have enough info, obviously, but. I'm just curious to see if you use Protect, or if the opponent uses Protect, do you even get to use it again? Because my theory would be that it wouldn't be able to get through Protect, but then, like, are you going to let them just waste their Z move on, like, a random Protect? Because if that's the case, then maybe the meta becomes almost every Pokemon has Protect.
Which is already the case in, 2v2 VGC.
Exactly, yeah, in VGC it'll just become, I mean, and sure, like, that means that VGC won't change that much, but, like... Or as far as like sacrificing a move slot for Protect, but in like a format where you need like you have like Choice Scarf or like a lot more choice Pokemon and like stuff like that. Like sacrificing a move for Protect is sacrificing coverage, and if you have to do that
always
on a Pokemon, if you have to do that on a more offensive Pokemon, that just really blows, honestly.
That's what balances some of the more offensive Pokemon out there too. Is the fact that they like. Going back to Beedrill, or even Diancie, if you want to successfully Mega Evolve those Pokemon, you absolutely need Protect. Otherwise, they're not going to survive that Mega Evolution turn anyway.
It's that glass cannon effect. It's very you either have to get them in on an extremely slow Pokemon that they counter, or you have to protect, and usually it's protect.
Yeah, it's the safest option.
Yeah, exactly. So it's interesting because I like that. I like that they're getting rid of Mega Evolution from a competitive standpoint. Like it's like opening up design space. Oh my fucking god! I just watched the Inferno animation against Rowlet. Inferno Overdrive. First of all, this little cat, like little Litten, is looking fierce, and then just unleashes a ball of fire towards Rowlet.
Rest in peace, little buddy.
Yeah, dude, he doesn't know what's coming at him. Jesus.
I just like how I'm looking at it and on Cerebi, and all the pictures are they're fighting level 15 Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
These moves, so I'm just yo, you get this after the first gym, you just dominate the game, just one-shot everything.
God.
Once per battle.
Well, I guess, but there aren't really going to be gyms. Oh, don't want to go to a new video. But, again, I guess it'll just depend on... I don't think it'll be broken. I'm sure that they'll have it kind of balanced in-game. But also, wait, so when they say you can use it once per battle, I guess that means just one Z-move per Pokemon?
I'm not sure. Based on...
Or, as in, I would assume it's like Mega Evolution, where it's once per battle, no other Pokemon can use Z-move.
That's what I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Because, then you'd have, these really long battles where the trainer does, that weird dance thing, the animation, which, by the way, I think it'd be amazing if you could switch the animation on the trainer. So, I can dab.
Custom dance animations.
Oh my god, that'd be great. Just dab on someone and hit them with a Gigavolt Havoc. That'd be hilarious. It's not gonna happen, but I'm just I'm picturing that in my head. Just boom, and then they die.
Yeah, I'm gonna double check and see if the Pokemon, because it calls. Sorry, just going back. I'm going through this website randomly, but it calls the totem Pokemon or the guardian Pokemon of each island, it calls them deities, gods.
Huh.
And I'm just what? Also, why doesn't it say that Zygarde is a legendary? I'm just how do you get Zygarde in this game?
I have no idea.
Also, is there a Zygarde 1% form? Zygarde cores and cells? Ew.
It's just bits and pieces of them.
Yeah. Each of Zygarde's forms will be gathering together cells. So one is called cores and cells. Neither cores nor cells have the power to battle on their own. So maybe that's what you're doing in this game.
You're powering up the Zygarde?
I mean, that might be part of it, because, isn't, I like this game for a lot of, scientific and environmental reasons. The fact that they introduced... I'm not gonna be surprised if they introduce, or even if they don't, actually, a snake Pokemon, because, people were talking about how Young Goose, the Yungoon line, is kind of why he had to introduce them to get rid of the snake infestation on the island. And that's kind of the backstory behind Young Goose in the game. So it's kind of they're using a lot more real-world adaptations for it. But also, Zygarde was considered the... what's it called? Zygarde was considered... it's kind of the protector of, nature, it almost felt like. If that makes sense.
Well, even following from X and Y story, what little there was of it, that's basically... what he was there for, and he wasn't even in the story.
Yeah, exactly. He wasn't in the actual story. He was just kind of in a cave, making sure that the world didn't fall apart or something. But also if they're putting in Zygarde, first of all, this is Zygarde's 50% form, is the original Zygarde that we know. But with this, it's kind of with the 50% form. Sorry, I'm just trying to gather all my thoughts on this. I'm just kind of thinking how, first of all, if they go back to if they do have to use the many worlds theories to discount Mega Evolution being in the region, or maybe it's just that, oh, no one here has a keystone, and that's fine with me as well. But it's like, what does Zygarde have to do with this region when it was in Kalos? Which, if we're
That's what I'm trying to figure out too.
going by like what region they're based off of, is technically all the way across the world. Because like Kalos was based in like France and stuff like that, in a more northern hemisphere part, and this is clearly more tropical.
It's like Hawaii, which is on the complete opposite side of the world.
Yeah, exactly. Or even so, it's like this is clearly either near the equator or something like that, and Kalos was definitely not near the equator.
Nope.
Huh.
There's also some story from X and Y that's just gone completely unfinished.
Such as
The guy AZ or whatever, the 3,000-year-old really tall dude.
No, there's just a random like 3,000-year-old guy, but like at the same time, Ash Ketchum's still 10, so
That's true.
I don't really think they're in a rush to resolve that.
Nah.
Unfortunately.
But like, there's him, and there's the whole, like, there's a Pokemon of life and death with, Xerneas and Yveltal, and then there's Pokemon of the Earth instead of Heaven versus Hell, which is Zygarde.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, Kenny, you might be onto something with, like, the story might be, like, instead of fighting a team, you're trying to figure out, like, what's wrong with the environment.
Yeah, I think that'd be a cool way to do it, and just, like, it seems it's a lot more self-reflective of a game, as far as, like, the way that you're advancing. Like, I know in all the games you're supposed to be the Pokemon champion, but this feels more like a humble experience, like a rite of passage game.
Right.
I'm also trying... I actually wanted to go to the, legendaries from the game. What is it? Solgaleo has been honored missionary from the sun. It doesn't really give too much lore behind them yet, from what I'm looking at. But just being that it's also like it's sun and moon. Like the game's name is environmental, essentially.
I didn't know this about the radiant sun phase and the full moon phase. I had no idea that was a thing.
Oh, really?
Until now.
Yeah. And then there's the Electric Fairy Guardian. See, this is what I thought was going to be, like, the Guardians of the Island. I thought there was going to be, like, Tapu Koko, and, like, all the other ones were going to do, like... I thought there would be, like, spirits that are guarding each island, but I guess it's not.
Nope, no.
Oh, wait, it's called the Guardian Deity of the Mele Mele Island.
Mm-hmm.
Surprisingly, it will not necessarily come to your aid if you need help. Huh. So maybe there is like a legendary on each island. There is a lot of information to take in here.
Especially today. I think this is the most information we've had to take in since this game was announced.
I think it's a lot of information, like them saying totem Pokemon, deity Pokemon are guarding the islands, and that you have to battle like all these different Pokemon, and like clearly that it's not going to be, like, no matter which way we put it, it's not a traditional gym structure. And I'm personally happy about that, just on every level. I think that the game need to be fresh.
Yes.
But at the same time, it's like, I feel like we've been given a lot of half pieces of information that are going to come to fruition soon.
They still got, let's see, about 3.5 months.
It's just kind of like, I almost would rather, like, them have waited to kind of describe how the gym system is going to work if they had described it fully. Or if they had made a separation between, like, what the Young Goon Totem was, or the, what's it called? Young Goose's evolved form?
Gumshoes!
Gumshoes! So if they had made a distinction between, like, the Gumshoes Totem, and then like, the legendary Pokemon, Tapu Koko, and, Magearna? What is Magearna, even?
I'm not
like it says it's an artificial Pokemon. Oh.
See, that's what gets me, is that they introduced all these, like, naturally occurring Pokemon and then like Charge Bug, who like feeds on electricity, which is like mildly natural, and then you have a Pokemon that literally sounds like she's man-made.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what it is apparently. Real body sphere construction on the chest called the Soul Heart. Oh well, yeah, it was made by a scientist who gathered the life energy from Pokemon. That's dark. That's dark, dude.
It is dark. But I don't know, the stories have been getting progressively more dark.
Which is at the same time cool. Like, the fact that I think it was cool that they brought up, like, the ethics of Pokemon in Gen 5. Because that was something that the community was talking about in general before then. Like, the ethics of Pokemon battling and stuff like that. And I hate it because now, because of Pokemon Go, like, a bunch of, like, SJWs, which there's nothing wrong with, like, being, like, a social justice warrior in general. But it's, like, like, a lot of people are like, oh my god, this is encouraging, like, dogfighting. And I'm like, dude, relax. Like, you don't understand how much I would cry if I lost a Pokemon in a Nuzlocke. Like...
I mean, with that logic, you can really apply that to any video game that's mildly violent.
No, I know, exactly. It's like... And that's why, like, I just got annoyed. I got a little triggered today when I saw an article about that. But, like, I think it's cool bringing up those ethical discussions in the game. And, like, in this game, I think they're trying to bring back, like, a more, like, scientific and environmental aspect. Which I love. Showing that, like, Pokemon can adapt to different climates. Even, like, introducing the concept of microclimates, I think is really cool.
It is cool, and I think that's something that, like, just makes the game seem that much more real.
Yeah, exactly. So, I am just getting super excited for this game. Like, I just cannot wait to see what more news gets released. But as far as this leak, I feel like I've talked about almost basically everything that I've wanted to at this point. Was there anything else that you felt you wanted to discuss?
The only thing I can think of right now is Lurantis. And
Lurantis? Where's that?
It is the Bloomsicle Pokemon. It is an Orchid Mantis, and I have waited entirely too long for an Orchid Mantis Pokemon. And it is adorable. Wow. It is a praying mantis. I can't ask for more.
Yeah, no, that's actually an amazing Pokemon. It looks like a really cool grass type.
I do know it gets a physical Solar Beam.
Yeah, I saw that blue. What's the move called?
It's like, let me look up the new moves real quick.
Oh, it's I have the video. I can probably go back to it. Let me see.
Solar Blade.
Oh yeah, Solar Blade.
That's already a cool name.
Sick. Yeah, it's kind of like how when Executor dropped its head down, dropped its giant branchy head down.
There's no name for that out yet.
Yeah, I don't know what that is, honestly. It looks like it's probably some sort of dragon move.
I thought it was Woodhammer.
I think people said it was Dragon Rush. I think the last time I saw people thought it might have been Dragon Rush. Which is why people were talking about maybe it's physical, but at the same time, like, Pokemon they don't generally show off, like, they don't necessarily have to show off the, like, oh, this is like a special type attacker, or this is a physical attacker,
right.
in the trailer. So, we'll see. But along with that, like, the Mudsdale and the pre-evolution look amazing.
Mudsdale, I just love that name.
Yeah, dude, it's so
It's
cool.
There's a donkey as its pre-evolution.
Yeah. He's a cute little thing, too. Mudbray.
He is.
Yeah, dude, people were talking about Stamina's an amazing ability, honestly. I'm wondering if it's going to be just for this Pokemon. Because it kind of makes sense, like, a Beast of Burden Pokemon having the ability Stamina, where the more it's worked, the more defense it gets. And that sort of thing.
I think my only hope is that the last time they had a Pokemon like that was Furfrou, and Furf, had like took half damage from all physical attacks, but it was terrible. It was a terrible Pokemon anyway, so you didn't use it.
Wait, is that was Furfrou abilities like Fluffy or something?
Yeah, it was. I don't think it was Fluffy.
Well, because that's the bear's thing. Beware.
I think it was Fur Coat. Was its name?
Because. Let me see if I can pull up Beware. Beware has the ability Fluffy, where it takes half damage from all physical type attacks, but double from fire.
Yeah, it's like that, but plus the fire weakness.
But it includes it? What do you mean?
So Beware has like a similar ability as Furfrou, except Beware has the fire weakness, where I don't think Furfrou did.
Yeah. So, but I don't know. I think it'll be cool though. I still like Beware, depending on like the spread. I mean, also having just a normal type, like I think is Beware normal fighting? Yeah, Beware is normal fighting, so it could be a little bit better.
All it really needed was a Scrappy.
Yeah, it just needed something like that. It just needed something to boost the normal type moves that it didn't get. But Beware, Mimikyu is the most adorable thing I've ever seen in my life.
I am in love with Mimikyu.
I think the internet is in love with Mimikyu. Like, I have not seen one person who fails to like go awe whenever they see Mimikyu.
I thought it was really creepy at first, and then I read about it.
Also, its ability is awesome, like Disguise, built-in substitute.
Oh my god, that's like one of the best abilities they've ever released.
Because like you could have like a Focus Sash on Mimikyu, and then this thing is taking at least 3 hits. So if this thing gets like access to hazard setup and stuff like that, this thing could be amazing. Or even if it just has like, what's up?
I don't imagine it would get hazards. Is the thing.
Yeah, I know, but we'll see. I mean, it is like Ghost, like what is it, Ghost Fairy? Or even if it's like it could be a screen setter maybe.
I'd be ooh.
Yeah, right.
That's like 3 screens right there.
With Ghost Fairy type.
Yes.
And like it would be kind of hard to hit. Like it has a pretty good defensive typing in a way.
Ghost Fairy. So it's what was it weak to Ghost?
It's weak to Ghost, Steel, and Ghost Steel. No, it resists poison from the Ghost.
Not poison, yeah, not poison.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a pretty good typing, honestly.
I imagine
and Dark. No, Dark. It's neutral against as well. See, so yeah, I think it's gonna be a pretty good defensive typing.
I think all it needs to be is something like Clefable, because you know Clefable has no stats above 100, but it's considered one of the best Pokemon in the game right now.
Because it's so well-rounded, and HP stat is great. It has a great 2 abilities. Just being a Fairy type is really good.
So Mimikyu only needs like stats around like the 80s and 90s, and he's good to go.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see.
Which is really not asking for much at all.
Yeah, I mean, like this could be a really good Pokemon. Even if it does make it an OU, it could still be like a very good or like obviously like it could be an OU, like anything can technically. But like it could be a very even if it's a lower tier mon, I could see this being a very very like good mon to have in like a balanced team in like UU or RU or something like that.
I love the tier system and whatnot. I think it's a good idea, but at the end of the day, I want every Pokemon to be usable.
I know what you mean. I just don't. I always like it because you can always like it gives a place for a Pokemon to shine. You know.
Yeah, I just wish like I was just so tired of say in Gen 4 and Gen 5 seeing Rotom Scizor on every single team.
No, it's ridiculous. Like right now, Landorus T is insane. So there's like no reason to have him on any team other than Stall. The only team where you wouldn't put him on automatically is Stall.
Exactly, and I just I'm tired of seeing the same Pokemon over and over again.
Oh no!
So you play low tiers.
No, but I think that for anyone watching who wants to get into competitive Pokemon as well, Joey Pogame always says, for all you OU players, if you're looking for some creativity, definitely play the lower tiers. You never know what you'll find. Because you can definitely find some lower tier Pokemon that have a really good place to shine on some amazing teams. So.
Which is funny because I always know Pokemon MD as the guy that says drop a Draco every 5 seconds.
Well, he loves Draco Meteor. It's awesome. But he'll always he's in his road to top 10s and whatnot. He was talking about it. And he's just because I think he got inspired to have a Quillfish on one of his teams at one point and other stuff like that.
Oh my god, I need to watch that.
Yeah. So, definitely playing the lower tiers is just good for your health as a competitive player in general. But we're getting a little off topic, but at the same time I think we're almost done. Oh wait, the one thing we didn't talk about actually at all was Meteor.
Oh yeah, this rock dude.
Where it's essentially he has, I guess he can't get status while his shell is going on, while his shell is on.
Well, let me read what Shield Down does.
Yeah, please do.
Yep, and has high defense until it hits 50% HP, where it causes the Pokemon to change form.
Yeah. So, and I think when has its shields up still, it can't get status at all, it seems like.
Yep.
Um,
Can't.
so that's awesome. I'm curious as to if once its shield is broken in battle, like, let's say you could have like a citrus berry, like let's say this thing has insane high defense or whatever. It gets below half, and then a citrus berry cracked, and it gets back up above half. Does its shield go back on?
That's a good question. I think it would be the same way something like Darmanitan Zen mode works.
I don't know how that works, actually. I haven't used Zen mode Darmanitan.
Oh, nobody does, because Darmanitan's that ability is terrible for him.
Exactly.
My guess is that it works similarly to how Archeops works with Defeatist.
Where it would get the defense boost, like its shield would come back on, kind of?
Yeah, like, so, for those of you who don't know, Archeops has really good stats, but it has the ability Defeatist, where if it hits 50% HP or lower, its attack and special attack are cut in half.
Mm-hmm.
So he becomes significantly less useful.
Yeah.
Even though he's amazing when he's at full health.
Oh yeah,
or above half.
Acrobatics without any like item, that'll put a dent in anything.
Yeah, that's a scary Pokemon to fight.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think Meteor would work the same way. So I think the Citrus Berry idea was a good call.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely like all this type of stuff is something that I want to look into. I do love the design of Meteor. I think it's so adorable.
Oh, I love how it's got the big glowing eyes, and it can change color. You don't know what color it's going to be until its core cracks.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm wondering if that's going to be like an island-specific thing, like if you go to an island and catch a Meteor on a certain island, or if it's just completely random. It has, depending on the particular color of debris it has absorbed. So it's probably based on island, I would assume, but it could also just be like completely random. But it's also a rock flying type, so that's a cool way to not have to give it levitate.
True. Just makes it like the Stealth Rock, which we've probably said many times throughout this video.
Yeah, well, Stealth Rock is Stealth Rock.
We could probably talk for an extra hour about how busted Stealth Rock is.
It's insane, dude. It's one of the reasons why, like, I love always seeing all these bug Pokemon, but then I'm like, you're never gonna make it.
No. See, and you know, you were talking about Mega Evolution, and that reminds me, Kenny. We're talking about, you know, like fan favorite Pokemon like Charizard.
Yeah.
If Mega Evolution does not come back, you're not going to see competitive Charizard again.
Yeah, I know, it sucks. It blows, honestly. Like, it's like, I mean, I know they did the recent re-tiering distribution where it's like now the Megas are different from their other Pokemon.
Right.
Before, well, like before they did that, it was like you couldn't even use Charizard in Never Used, in NU or anything like that.
And he wasn't even good in that low
yeah,
tier.
Exactly. So it's like that kind of sucked because that like didn't give anyone the opportunity to really try and use him even in a lower tier. So I'm glad that they did that. And they broke it up, but it's like now you're just never gonna see any Charizard. Also, like little Timmy, what if his favorite Charizard was Charizard X, and now he can't play with Charizard X anymore.
That's the thing. I was just thinking about Shofu's video.
Yeah, little Timmy.
with Mega Aggron as they use.
Yep, Mega Aggron.
That is something you have to consider, though. Like, they have so much marketing for Pokemon like Mega Lucario. Like Mega Lucario is everywhere.
But at the same time, like, look at all the new plushies that they have for Sandshrew and Sandslash.
True.
Like, oh my god, I love I just can't get over this Ninetales design, honestly.
I think next to Lurantis, that's what I'm most hyped for.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Lurantis looks amazing. Like, it's such a nice Pokemon.
And it's not Grass Bug, so it's not going to be as terrible as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, it's not going to be like Levani.
Oh my god, no.
Yeah. And then, like, they're also, I feel like the what we've seen from the past few trailers, I think we should probably wrap this up soon since it's been over an hour.
True that. I'm okay with that.
But I think that's interesting that they're kind of experimenting with like new abilities that seem to be more competitive, and this is another thing where I think they're starting to pay attention to the competitive scene with, like, even though it might not be that good of a Pokemon, Comfy, because it doesn't look like it'll evolve, the Lay Pokemon, basically.
It's Klefki 2.0.
It is. It's Klefki 2.0. But like the fact that it's like Prankster but for just healing. First of all, I'm wondering if that includes stuff like Mega Drain. or Giga Drain, like attacking moves that heal, or is it just strictly healing moves?
I'm not sure, but I know if this thing gets Wish, I'm going to be really happy.
Exactly. Like, it'll be a fun, annoying Pokemon to have fun with and all that type of stuff. Like, this could be an amazing Wish Passer, but they're doing stuff like that. I'm curious to see Wimpod's ability with Wimp Out. Like, that's like an ability that's a red card, essentially.
Yeah, it's like a free U-turn almost.
Yeah, exactly. Like you can hit something. Like, if this thing has high speed or put a Choice Scarf on it, hit something, you get hit, and then you get bumped out, and then you're into something. So it's like everything is like a Volt Turn combo, essentially.
And Bug Water is actually a pretty decent type.
Yeah, exactly. It's not horrible. It's pretty good offensive typing, honestly. Like water and like you can hit a good amount with bug type moves. Like if this gets access to U-turn even.
It's a bug type, so it probably does.
Yeah, exactly. But then you also even have stuff like Mimikyu, which is like substitute on a what's it called? Like an ability. Like, they're just doing all these like different abilities that I feel are trying to like they tested out with the items, and they're like, okay, well, now what if we made an ability like that? Or we had a move, now what if we had an ability like that? So I'm curious to see. Like, I think that this just shows that they're ready to start experimenting in the competitive scene a little bit more and try to give us a more full experience rather than give us like the same couple abilities and like that sort of thing. Like,
I think they're definitely going out on a limb.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Oh, and the other good thing about hyper training is you can, once you capture your legendaries, they'll be able to be IV'd.
Oh my god, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that, but that's something that I personally think is going to be the best, because you don't have to soft reset forever anymore. Like, let alone all the breeding, this was the hardest shit to actually do.
Oh my god, the only problem with hyper training is that your Pokemon has to be level 100 first.
But at the same time, you could, what if it's like you have to collect bottle caps by leveling them up or something? So you level them up and you're getting the bottle caps at the same time, and then it doesn't matter.
That's true. And, so, based on, like, how they're making it so, like, you can just, beat the game. It sounds like they want you to beat the game quickly and as conveniently as possible. I'm guessing there's going to be some way to get your Pokemon to 100 pretty efficiently.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of post-game. I'm hoping, like, and this is just an idea, but I think because Hawaii's a a tourist destination, I think you're gonna see like gym leaders or Elite Four people from Kanto and shit like that, because like if you've ever been to Hawaii, it's a big tourist stop for like Japanese folks.
Yep.
Because it's like their closest like great destination away. When you think about it.
So that makes me think if they're gonna put in the Battle Frontier.
Yeah, exactly. Like, because they were teasing it in Oras.
And it was on a faraway island, and no one maybe. So maybe.
So I think
that'd be really funny if you could travel to like the Hoenn region, but just the battle resort.
Yeah.
Because it's in the same ocean.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering how much, because especially if like you're saying, if they make this game pretty short, and just with the way that they're like tying in like Zygarde and stuff like that, which is supposed to be from a different region, technically speaking, like, is this going to be the game that we've, like, not like every region, but is this going to be like a pretty cross-regional thing, or at least are we going to have like other trainers from outside Alola come to the region?
It's a good question, because everyone's been wanting that again since Gen 2.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what made Gen 2 so much fun.
So that's kind of my prediction in the end for all this type of stuff, is that I think that because it's a tourist destination, with everything that they've been giving us, with like what appears to be like a very specific trial that you are personally going through to like build yourself as like a person, and like not a real gym leader system, maybe it'll be like you're trading here and then you go to another place and you battle the gym leaders there if it's a short game. Or maybe it's that you'll be facing everyone from the other region in the Alola region, and that sort of thing. And that would be amazing.
Now you got me hyped.
I'm not saying that's entirely, but I I think that they would be so. I think that would be very short-sighted of them not to do that. I think they have a very, very good thematic thing going right now that I think that would enhance. Because I've loved everything that they've been doing, and like the way I thought that it was just like they were doing a little nod to like the environmentalist thing, where it's like they talked about an invasive species and like introducing other species for population control, and then they like went all the way and they're like doing all of this environmental type of stuff where they're talking about microclimates and really educating kids. And then I think that if they don't go with the cultural aspect, which I think they've been doing very well with the designs and everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think that they would be a little short-sighted to not go with, hey, this is a tourist trap near Japan, and a lot of the regions were based in Japan, like Kanto, Johto.
The first 4 are based off Japan.
Yeah, exactly. And then like you have stuff like what Unova was New York City and then Kalos was France, but like still, so you could maybe this is like gonna be a giant throwback to like a lot of the older generations where you'll have like Elite Four members that you remember, like maybe you'll see like Lance come back and like that sort of thing, because that would be amazing. That I think that would sell a lot of not younger people, that would sell a lot of the Gen 1ers, a lot of like the people that were our age that kind of fell off after Gen 2 and 3.
Yeah, and that's actually what happened to most people I know that used to play Pokemon is fell off around Gen 2 or 3.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I fell off at, for some reason, I just skipped Gen 5, personally. I think it was just the timing of college and all that type of stuff.
That shit came out probably like a few years, right, or like a year or two right before you started.
Yeah, exactly. And then, like, by the time I was in college, it was like Black and White 2 it came out, I think.
Yeah, Black and White. Yeah, Black, because I was a sophomore, you were a freshman. You're right.
Yeah, exactly. And then I picked it back up with Gen 6 because I saw the new graphics and I was like sick.
Pokemon Stadium graphics in a Pokemon handheld game. That's all anyone wants.
Yeah, exactly. But basically, just to kind of, I guess, wrap up everything with like my last thoughts. I'm very hyped for this. I hope that some of my predictions come true as far as the tourist attractions. That's like the one thing that I'm really waiting for to be confirmed. And with everything that we've seen today, I'm like, they are doing a great job with the design of this game, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Any final thoughts on your end?
All I can say is that so far every leak that I think we've seen has been really, really interesting and really cool. Because it's not like anything we've expected so far. Like we see, your generic starter rodent, starter bird, but then you got all these like unique Pokemon that have abilities we've never seen before, and then you get the giant, scary Executor.
Yeah, exactly.
Which no one expected up until this morning.
Which I still don't understand why it's a dragon.
We'll find out.
Yeah, exactly. We'll find out. But basically, like, to kind of conclude, just thank you all for coming out to the stream. Marty, this was a great discussion. I'm glad that I finally got to like talk to all about everything that's been released with someone.
Oh yeah.
There's just been so much on my mind with all that they've given us. Definitely stay tuned for the more updates. Like, try to keep track of make sure you're following like Pokemon and stuff like that if this is the type of stuff that interests you, because they post stuff on like their Japanese page and all that type of stuff. So thank you all for coming out. Make sure if you're on my channel that you go check out Marty, the Arkhand. That's it, right? ARKHAND.
Yep. THE_. And if you're on my channel, go check out Kenny. That is LEWIKE01.
And if you're watching this on YouTube, thank you so much. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. And I will see you guys next time.
Indeed, this was fun, Kenny.
Absolutely. Same with you, Martin. Alrighty. See you guys.
So, y'all.